Welcome to episode 2 of The Coach and the Cowboy. Josh and Reggie, we are here. Josh, I'm super excited about this one. I know the NCAA tournament is something you and I both really look forward to, being basketball guys. And that's what this episode's all about, right?
For sure. I am excited. Don't be a little jealous, but I'll have 10 days on my own just to bleed my eyes out of watching all the games. Kind of reminds me of Home Alone, where he's like watching that show. He's like, I'm watching the show. Come down and pound me. So now my wife can't be like, you're watching another game? I'll be like, heck yeah.
Another one. All weekend, my man's going to be just up there, just
glued to the TV.
Another one. The key with that is you got to have all those channels, and I don't even know. Like, I think this is the only time all year people know what True TV is, or like all the other channels. It's wild. I don't even know.
Yeah, it's on everything now. It's True TV, TBS, TNT, CBS. I think I'm gonna use my Fubo too as that as well. So we'll be you can use anything to cast it. I feel like nowadays, because it used to just be the regular couple stations, but now you can watch so many games at once.
Absolutely, and obviously you could go to your local watering hole, if you will, a B-Dubs or whatever other place. I'm sure they've got every game on. What would be really cool is, I'm not a big gambler, but if you could go down to a sports book or something and just watch all the games there, I bet that would be absolutely insane.
For sure. There could be some cheering and crying down there.
Yeah. Great people watching though. Great
for sure.
Watching, which is I'm all about the people watching. All right, so today's episode, hey, we're gonna be talking about some of our top tournament moments of all time, right? Some things that you probably have seen in your lifetime. Maybe you haven't seen some of these. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the bracket and just an overview, how we see the brackets, maybe some top picks to win it, some sleeper teams. Everybody loves those mid-majors, the Cinderella stories. We're going to have a nice little fun trivia time with Josh. He's going to test this big brain I got, and then I'm gonna bounce some hypothetical questions off Josh, and it's gonna be fun, and we're gonna have a little banter back and forth. But let's start off. What are you want to start top 5 moments, or do you want to do a quick overview of the bracket?
Let's do a quick overview, and then we'll jump into the top 5, just so we can, cool. And then we'll get into the nuts.
So what do you think? Because I feel like every year there's like some snubs, right? And I mean, whatever. But I feel like this year there actually was a couple teams that's like, you got left out. What's your overall take of the bracket? Like, how do you feel the committee did?
Every year we can nitpick on who made it, who didn't. But like this year, there's like a few teams I feel like should have got in.
Yeah.
Like, first of all, University of Pitt. They won at least 20 games.
Mm-hmm.
And they did pretty well in the ACC. And then the other one is St. John's. Even though their record isn't the best,
I know
they won 6 games in a row.
Yeah,
and beat every team by 14. And I think they missed one game before the tournament or something like that. Like, they could have got to the final. I don't remember exactly. There's a few others, but the one that's really bugging me looking at this bracket and how they did. So the first 4 in, Boise State against Colorado. Like, what are you doing? Like, they can play that game anytime. Like,
if Boise State Colorado doesn't make you want to run and try to figure out where True TV is or whatever, I don't know what does. I mean, that I know that gets. I will wake up whenever they play that game. I don't even know when they play that, and I will find a TV and watch that game. Let me tell you.
But I mean, there's just a few on here where you're like, ooh, they got in over them. But I mean, we could say that we could nitpick the whole bracket and go through it, but those are my 2. And just the Boise State and Colorado kind of bugs me because it's like those teams could play each other as in the season anyway. So
yeah,
that's a weird matchup.
Let's go back to St. John's. What is going on? what is going on with Rick Pitino? Have you seen like video of this guy? Have you seen his picture lately? I think he might be a vampire. I don't know
It's Rick Pitino,
because
man. I mean, what can you say?
he
This is
is
this
the
is him in
man.
all his glory.
He's the
Um,
man, but I don't know. He needs to get some
both,
sun or something. I don't
both,
know.
yeah, both them and Pitt snubbed the NIT.
Yeah.
Said no, thank you, and they like
Cheers, but
made
no
up some
cheers.
like dumb excuse like our kids need rest, blah blah blah. But why don't you get them on the court and see what you got? Because like most of these kids are going to transfer right out. So for
Mhm.
both schools, um, I don't
And
know.
that's
It's kind of sounding like it's a privilege now. Like if you don't make the NCAA tournament, why are we playing the mediocre one? So it's
yeah,
kind of turning into what college football kind of happened to,
college
kind of thing.
football.
I feel
Mhm.
it might. I think this might trickle down effect into some of the other sports, possibly. I'm not sure,
Mhm.
but
I
I
hope
would
not,
be.
but you know it
Yeah, me
is.
too.
You
But
know it's
I'd
coming.
feel terrible if I'm like a senior and I don't have any more eligibility, and they're like, "We're not going to play in the tournament, so your season's done." Oh,
Yeah.
thanks, sweet.
Yeah.
But it is what it is.
But
Rick Pitino is him, All right. So looking over the bracket now, let's jump into our top 5 moments of
the top
March.
5
Yeah,
moments.
of March Madness. How we're going to do this is we're going to go back and forth. So we'll start at the bottom and work our way to the top.
Started in the bottom, now
Um,
we're here.
yeah. And if we have the same thing, just like, oh, that's my number 3 or something like that.
Mm.
All right, here we go. I will.
We need a drum roll.
Yeah, we probably do. All right, here we go. My top 5 moment for number 5
Number
is
5.
when Kevin Ware in 2013 for Louisville snapped his leg
Oh,
versus Duke on live TV.
I do not have that.
That was
Yikes.
that the replay over and over. I think is like stuck in my skull. So,
There is
um,
there's nothing worse than seeing that live. Did you watch like Paul George do that? And there was a guy for the Astros or something, and he like rounded first and he snapped his ankle and it was just like dangling. You see that stuff, it just like
yeah,
is ingrained in
that's
your
why it's
brain.
one of my 5. And then and eventually Louisville won the national championship though. But
That's right.
and then I
That's
got
right.
vacated.
Who else was on that team? Do you remember who else was on that team?
Pava Silva and some white guy. I can't think of his name. And Russ something. I can't think of his last name.
Nice. And that's our boy Rick Pitino, the lizard.
It was. And then like I said earlier in the podcast, it got vacated because of his sanctions he keeps getting at schools.
Yeah, Is that before or after the Italian restaurant incident that happened with anyways, moving on. My number 5, and you're gonna love this one. Just knowing a little bit about Josh, the infamous 1993 national championship game, Chris Webber timeout. So Michigan had the Fab Five, right? They were changing the game, the baggy shorts, the black socks, hip hop, all the rage, right? Them and like UNLV, they were the teams.
The running rebels.
Yep. So Michigan got beat by Duke the year before, right? They got run out by, I would assume that would be Bobby Hurley and Christian Laettner. Probably.
And Grant Hill in 92.
Grant Hill. So they made their second national championship appearance. They were down by 2 points, 11 seconds left. Weber gets trapped after the rebound, travels. Do you remember that? He walked. Everybody's going crazy. The ref doesn't call anything. He goes to call timeout because he panicked. Obviously, is a technical foul. Carolina hits 2 free throws. They go on and hit 2 more free throws, end up winning. I didn't know this, but no, that's something else. That's something later down in the list. But won the national championship for Dean Smith.
Correct.
His first, but that was a memorable one.
That is actually.
That make your list?
Yes, that's actually my second one.
Second? Oh man, this is gonna be good. All right, do I go 4 then?
Yeah, we'll bounce back and forth.
Okay. Okay. Number 4. I have got Magic versus Bird, 1979 national championship game, Michigan versus Indiana State. Now, the reason I have this on here is because this is what a lot of people see as the rise of not only college basketball, but basketball in general, as far as the NBA too, because obviously they went on. You had the cocky, the brash, Magic Johnson versus the country boy, the hick from French Lick, Indiana State, Larry Bird. It was at that time the most watched. This took place out in Utah. I actually have a coworker that was at that game. No, the most watched college basketball game ever. Bird versus Magic, 1979, number 4.
But also, like you said, this transitioned into the NBA when they're competing for championship as well, which is really crazy. How
Yeah,
these
absolutely.
two left college and basically carried the NBA for a little bit before the other players came on. But I do not have that one because I know about
There
that
you
one. But for most of our fans out there, if we have any yet, I wasn't born yet. So
before our time.
all right, my number 4 is Kyle Guy's 3 throws with 0.6 seconds left to beat Auburn in 2019. Now, the reason I bring this one up because Auburn was winning and they called this ridiculous foul in the corner when he was shooting his 3-pointer. I felt like the ref should have, swallowed his whistle, let him land. I didn't see anything wrong with that. Somebody had to be on the take on that one. But that's one that stuck in my mind. I was like, oh my.
That's as a referee and a basketball fan, judging who gets fouled and who doesn't get fouled at the end of the game has got to be the most no-win solution for anybody involved, right? I mean, it is
Agreed.
nearly impossible because do you let them play and swallow the whistle? Do you not let? I mean, either way, it's a lose-lose situation because half the team or half the people are going to be, pissed about it. The other half are glad. I mean, it's an absolute no-win, but that's a tough one. My number 3 goes to the GOAT, not Tom Brady. We're talking about the shot that put Jordan on the map in the 1982 national championship game against Georgetown. Here we go. He's a freshman, relatively unknown. Okay. He'd been playing. He was an All-American coming out of high school, but he also had a couple other All-Americans that were significantly more highly touted, I guess. 3 of them. I know 2 of them, James Worthy and Sam Perkins. Who's the third one? You remember? I don't.
Cole Anthony.
Okay. Cool. Carl Anthony?
No,
Carl Anthony Towns. His dad?
No,
I don't remember.
I can't remember. I know it's one of the Anthonys. It's on. He's on TBS or TNT.
Okay. This is something that I didn't know that was Dean Smith's first national championship. So
I did not know that.
Yeah. So Jordan's shot beat Patrick Ewing and brought Dean Smith his first national championship, and a young 4th-year assistant coach, Roy Williams, was on the bench for that. I knew, obviously, Roy, longtime coach at Kansas, went back to North Carolina at the end of his career. I remember there was a connection, but yeah, Roy Williams, Dean Smith, Michael Jordan, number 3 winner over Georgetown for the 82 Natty.
Okay, well, I did not have that one,
of course,
but I have seen. I have seen that one though.
Yes,
I wasn't born yet, but I do know about that one.
Mm-hmm.
My number 3 is kind of interesting. I have 2018 UMBC upsets Virginia as a 1 seed.
Yes.
Then I follow that with a tag team of 23 of Fairleigh Dickinson upsetting Purdue.
Yes. That's what everybody's got nervous right now.
So
with
that
Purdue.
was last year's one.
Mhm.
So I never thought that would happen. Never, no one ever think they were like 0 and whatever against 1 seeds. But that's just something that stuck in my mind.
I'm sensing we've got a trend going here, because if you look at mine, we're talking about a 93, we're talking about a 79 game, we're talking about an 82 game. My number 2 is a 1983 game that everybody has seen. If you have watched any college basketball highlights, specifically around the NCAA tournament, you have seen a shot of this, which is the North Carolina State air ball that turned into a dunk to win the national championship for Jim Valvano. So this is probably the most famous shot ever. And they had the shot, or the actual shot, and then they had a shot of Jim Valvano running around frantically. Right. It's just the coolest thing. Houston was stacked. Hakeem Olajuwon, Clyde
Oh, yeah,
Drexler,
that's right. I was like, yeah, I
Phi
thought they
Slamma
beat
Jamma.
Houston.
This was an interesting thing. So North Carolina State had a run during the tournament. They had, in their first round game, they had a double overtime win. They had 2 additional 1-point wins. And then it was capped off in the national championship by one of the most memorable shots ever to win the national championship.
I'm pretty sure they beat some tough teams on that run too.
Yeah. Yeah. So it was
You might have been born for that, but I wasn't yet.
I would have been a couple months old, 3 months old, something like that, 4 months old, depending on when it was. I was born in
But
January.
you're right. Everybody has seen that epic picture of him running on the court, not knowing the hug, not knowing what he's doing, just running around.
What do I do with my hands? What do I do with my hands? Yeah. We had a Talladega Nights before Talladega Nights was Talladega Nights. All right, and number 2 for you, Mr. Josh. What you got?
You already have that one. It's the Chris Webber. I'm going to call it timeout moment.
Okay. All right. Do you want to go number 1? Because I know what your number 1 is. It's obvious.
All right.
Everybody's favorite college basketball player ever. Here we go.
My number 1
how he made the dream team. How did this guy make the dream team?
Is the shot in 1992. Grant Hill, full court pass with 0.3 seconds left to Christian Laettner for the dub against Kentucky.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say that wasn't the championship game.
No, that was a Elite 8, or was that Final Four? I think it was Elite 8.
I think it was Elite 8. I think.
Yeah.
I can't. But I remember watching it live, and I was like, "Oh my!" My first thought was, "Why would you play behind Christian Laettner?"
Yeah.
But
and a lot of people have talked about that, right? Because that was that the Kentucky team with like Jamal Mashburn?
It was. And guess who was coaching them?
Yeah, who was coaching them? Was that our boy, 3-time talked about on this podcast, Rick Pitino?
It was, because then he left. Remember, he left to go coach Boston.
Oh yeah, that's right. Okay, so I heard an interview on this shot. The most interesting thing was everybody says you guard the ball, which I don't disagree with, right? If you guard the ball, you block the vision of the inbounder. But he said, I wouldn't have done that. If I had to do it again, I would have put someone on Laettner. And I forget exactly how it went, but specifically, he didn't tell them to make sure that they guard Laettner or something. And he's like, that's one of my biggest regrets, that he didn't, emphasize that or something. I don't know, but I'm sure, as we mentioned earlier, Pitino's got other regrets too, but that's off the court stuff.
We gotta keep this PG, okay?
No waterbed talk here. Go back to episode 1 to get that reference. Okay, number 1, and this is probably not even on your radar. So
I was
this
gonna
is a
say
shocking.
I was gonna say I probably don't know, but I knew you knew mine. I had a feeling you'd get mine.
Yeah. We're dialing this thing back. If you can't tell by my list, we're hitting the 70s, the 80s, the 90s. What era have I left out? We've left out the 60s. Now, you may be asking yourself, what in the wide world of sports will be happening in the 60s? But I think you know where I'm going with this now.
Is this
This could be. It
is
could be.
this Western
You got half
Texas?
of it.
Western El Paso or something? That one? No.
Texas Western. Texas Western, first team with 5 black starters. They beat an all-white Adolph Rupp Kentucky team in the national championship. Made famous by the movie Glory Road.
You forgot one thing though.
What did I forget?
He only played 7 players and they were all black. He wouldn't. That's what his goal was in the game. So he had the starting 5 plus he played only the 7 off the bench
in the national championship.
Mm-hmm. So he had the starting 5 and the 2 other ones he played.
Yep.
So it was all black guys against his whole white team. He didn't play the white guys on his bench at all.
Yeah. So unheard of, obviously.
Oh, for sure back then.
Glory Road, great movie. I don't know if it's an all-time movie, basketball movie.
I'd say up in the top 10, probably.
Oh, it's top 10 for sure. Coach Carter's up there. Hoosiers classic. Don't get caught watching the paint dry. If you know that movie.
He
that
got
reference.
game, loving basketball.
Yeah, white man can't jump. Anyways, Texas Western. Don Haskins. I think it's Don. Or is it Dan? Don. It's probably Don. Don's an older name. Did he coach until 1999? Did you know that?
I did not know that.
So he coached until 1999. They are now UTEP, okay, University of Texas El Paso. And Coach Haskins finished, Hoskins or Haskins? I don't know. My notes are kind of weird. Finished over 700 total wins. 700.
Dang.
That's,
I didn't even know that. I bet you it tells at the end of the movie some of the credits, but I don't remember that.
Yeah. And I'm sure they've got like footage of it and like real life footage and all that stuff, but pretty cool. So my number 1, Texas Western, beating Kentucky in the 1966 national championship game. There you go.
I think we covered a good variety of top 5 moments.
So those are some of the top moments that we've seen over the course of time. But now let's talk specifically about this bracket, this upcoming tournament that we're super excited about. Top, who do you have as some of your top teams? I think you've got.
I only have top 2 actually.
You got top 2. I got top 3,
and I have the rest of the field.
All right.
Just from watching a lot of basketball lately and a little bit before, I have repeat champions of UConn.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other team I really like is Houston.
Going chalk.
Yep.
And they're chalk for a reason.
Yeah. Normally I'd root for my team, but I don't think they have. I'd be surprised if they made it.
Yeah.
I don't see 2 other teams really, honestly, but I mean, that's just my opinion. So
sure. Well, I had, to much of your chagrin, I had North Carolina. The reason the eye roll is real. I can feel it. And the reason why is the experience, right? They've got players that have been there forever, it seems like, which is unheard of in today's game. And I think experience matters, and you'll see that in all my top 3 picks. Their strength of schedule, they've played a pretty tough schedule, and I know they just got beat in the ACC tournament championship, North Carolina State. But I think they're going to do well. Auburn, I love Bruce Pearl. Always been a Bruce Pearl fan. They won the SEC tournament. They've, if we want to get into the rankings of KenPom and all the other stuff, they've got an elite level offense. They've got a lockdown defense. I think Auburn's going to be tough. In the last one, and I know pre-show we talked about it when we were just looking at the bracket. My third team that I've got to win it all is Creighton, and that kind of hurts being a Nebraska fan, but they've got the experience. Hold on, they were one shot away from making it to the Final Four last year. Greg McDermott is a great coach. They are the 8th tallest team in the country, and they brought 60% of the minutes that have been played by guys who have that played meaningful minutes last year. So they got experience. I just think coaching. If you look at North Carolina, I don't think he's an elite level coach. That's for sure. Hugh Davis, that's
Herbert.
Herbert Davis. There you go. Thank you. Bruce Pearl's great coach. Always been a fan of him. And Greg McDermott, I think he's a great coach too. So I think coaching matters, especially when it comes to tournaments like this, and the experience definitely plays key. So what kind of sleepers or mid majors you see making a run, or have the potential to make some noise in this tournament?
Well, first I want to say that I feel like you did your homework on these 3 teams, and I feel like you came out guns blazing, and then you decided to punch me in the face and say my arch nemesis, those Tar Heels. But it's fine, it's fair.
You don't like it, my brother. If he ever listens to this, he would be proud. He's a huge Carolina fan. Shout out, Brian.
And that's why we wouldn't be friends. Okay. So some of my mid majors is I really like Charleston. They are facing Alabama, so it's a 4-13 seed.
Ooh, yeah. I've heard that that's
they
upset watch.
shoot 47% behind the 3-point arc.
That's decent.
And they average almost 13 offensive rebounds a game. And they are shoot and crash the boards kind of team. So if you can't guard the 3-point line, you're in trouble against them. And they almost won their first round match last year against San Diego State. Then my other team is, just because they're like newer to college basketball, is Grand Canyon University.
How many Grand Canyon hoodies are they going to sell if they win? Right, if they get the upside first round.
Shoot, I'll buy one. You know that Dan Marley used to coach them first. That's who their first coach was.
Who was?
Big band Dan Marley from the Heat.
Oh,
not the Heat. Sorry, Phoenix Suns.
Dan
Marley. I like them because of Tyon Grant Foster. He is a very good 2-1 player, offense, defense. He could probably play at a higher level at a different college. They beat San Diego State this season. They almost beat South Carolina. They lost by like 3. They're well put together. I think they can battle with anyone out there. Their matchup is a 5-12. So they're playing St. Mary's.
Gotcha.
So there's that as well. And then a few other upsets I put out there for you real quick for mid-majors. I have possibly, we can see, even though you might not like this one, but I'll say it anyways. Western Kentucky, maybe over Marquette. It's a possibility, depending on how they play. And then, of course, I already talked about Grand Canyon. And then we got New Mexico over Clemson. New Mexico's a pretty strong team, the Lobos. And then McNeese State over Gonzaga. That team's pretty.
McNeese what?
Yeah. Remember, keep it PG.
Yeah. Junior high.
But yeah, I think they could beat Gonzaga.
Dude, McNeese is 30-3, bro.
Yeah, they're a very good team. So those are just a few of my quick little things.
Houston, UConn. Who else has won 30 games? 30 games is a lot of games, bro, to win. That's crazy. That's wild. I steered clear.
You forgot James Madison won 31 games.
Oh, Did I?
They went 31-3. That's the 12-5 matchup that seems really risky with Wisconsin.
Yeah, I don't like Wisconsin.
All right, let's.
I had a couple sleepers real quick.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, a 6 seed really isn't a sleeper. I honestly just found this and it made sense. BYU. I mean, could they make a run?
That is too funny. You said 6 seed. I just glanced at the paper and I'm
Mhm.
like, the first name that pops up out of when I glance was BYU. That's funny.
Because we're connected. They've got a top defense. They got if they get hot, they've got some. They got a big that's got some range.
It's the Mormon power.
Mm-hmm. Mormon power. Another one, and I've got to, I just got to plug them because it is what it is, and I'm part of the podcast, and it's the only Power 5 team. Here we go. We'll trivia. The only Power 5 team without an NCAA win. You know who that is? You know who that is? Nebraska. Nebraska is the only.
I didn't have to guess.
Yeah, the only Power 5 team without an NCAA tournament win. And they've got a shot. And real quick, and we're not going to dive into it, but I feel like the bowl selection committee and the tournament selection committee has a gross sense of humor. And why do I say that? Because both men's and women's Nebraska teams play Texas A&M. Now, why would they play Texas A&M? Well, last week, not long-standing, he was there for 2.5 years, 2 years, something like that. Trev Alberts was the athletic director for Nebraska. He left for Texas A&M. Now, if you know anything about history of college football, Trev Alberts is, legendary in Nebraska football. Went on to the NFL. Didn't have that great of a career in the NFL, but he was, college football Hall of Famer. Came back and he was AD for Nebraska, University of Nebraska for a couple years, and then just recently left. And now, who do they play? First round, Texas A&M, both men's and women's team. So interesting. But Tominaga, absolutely electric to watch. If you have not seen this kid, number 30 for Nebraska, guy is, Steph Curry-ish, just quick shot. They live and die by him. And if he's making buckets, things can happen in a hurry, with him. And they have Mast and Alec down low playing. And if Bryce Williams gets hot, that's going to be a huge problem for people. Fred Hoiberg is the coach. Again, I think coaching matters, experience matters. Obviously, Fred Hoiberg, played at a high level, played at Iowa State. Played in the NBA, coached at Iowa State, coached, with the Bulls, and now is at Nebraska. Struggled, but he's got. We'll see if he can make some noise in the NCAA tournament here. So, Nebraska, a possible sleeper. Hopefully, that'd be awesome. Get off the no-win hide.
I don't even know what to say to that right now.
Yeah, man. All right, so what do we got? We got questions. We got trivia. What are we doing, man? This is exciting.
Let me just give some quick little stats. Just some fun.
Oh yeah, let's do stats.
Some fun stats I got. So I'll just kind of ramble for a minute. So I was looking up some stats. Seemed kind of interesting. So 8 versus 9. So people are filling out brackets. Mm-hmm. They're saying always take the underdog. In this matchup, the underdog is 54 and 32 over the last 33 years. So that's kind of interesting.
So always take the underdog, which doesn't mean take 9. You're
Correct.
saying betting. You're saying the betting line underdog.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yep. And then for the first 4 games, the first 4 in, which are going on actually right now, there's only been 1 year when there's been a team from the first 4 that hasn't advanced to the round of 32.
Wow.
Which I never paid attention to
that.
Yeah, because they haven't been doing it for that long, though. So,
yeah.
And then 11 seeds right now are 26 and 26 since 2011.
Okay. So
Um,
don't, you know,
so yeah, so
don't
90
discount them.
yeah, so 92% they were saying of those teams being the underdog make deep runs. And six of the 16 teams lately have made it to the second weekend.
The second weekend being the Sweet 16.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Which is pretty crazy. And then I'm sure you know about the rest of these stats. 100% of the national championships since 2004 were ranked in the top 12 in the week of the sixth A people. So that means you'd have in this poll, these are the people that they only think will win. This is 100%.
Mm-hmm.
Is Houston,
Mm-hmm.
UConn, Purdue, North Carolina, Tennessee, Arizona, Iowa
Mm-hmm.
State, Creighton, Kentucky, Marquette, Duke, and to round it off is Auburn.
Which I didn't know that. I knew that stat, but I didn't. I've heard of it like on TikTok or whatever,
Yeah,
but I
and then
didn't
here
actually
here's
know who it
here's
was.
your other favorite stat that you used for some of your things
Oh,
about
oh.
Auburn. So 100% of the national championships in 2002 have
Mm-hmm.
been in the top 40 in the Kempow
Uh,
offense
yeah.
and the top 22 in defense. So that leaves us with the ones we kind of talked about already. So that leaves us with UConn, Marquette, Houston, Purdue, Texas, Auburn, and Arizona.
So repeat those numbers again because
Yep.
it was top what and top what on offense,
Yep.
top what on defense.
So it was top. So I've been both a top 40 Kempon offense and a top 22 defense.
Yeah, I like that. Being
That,
a defensive
but
guy,
then yeah, that's
the
great.
lockdown D.
Defense wins championships.
Yeah, that's the coach
Uh,
coming out right there.
that is when you run the 1-3-1 out there and press the ball. But another interesting fact, which I didn't know this either, 100% of the national championships since 1993 have made their
Hmm.
conference tournament finals. So the ones that are big that have, so we have, this is crazy. So here's some names that are in the tournament, but you never think would have a chance. We have UConn, Colorado, Arizona, Washington State, San Diego State, New Mexico, Iowa State, um, Florida, Mississippi State, Oregon, Marquette, St. Mary's, Colorado State, Houston, Iowa, Wisconsin, Auburn, NC State, Gonzaga, Utah State, Baylor, Texas Tech, Purdue, Texas A&M, and North Carolina.
Bro, you just list off like half the bracket.
I know, but
Yeah.
hey, and
I
then
mean,
some
did
other.
you literally just read half the bracket's
I
name?
might have, and then on average, on average, they're just under 13 upsets per year in the March Madness tournament since 1985.
Now, do you think upsets means the number? So if like an 8 beats or if a 9 beats an 8, that's an upset? Or are we?
Maybe, but I always thought it's more like the higher numbers, but I don't know.
Yeah. Okay.
Because I
That's
feel like
cool.
the nine and 8 seed basically like the same
It's
thing.
kind of a pick 'em game.
And then
One.
and
Go
then
ahead.
our then I was gonna say that Houston, Purdue, and UConn are the only three teams that fit every major national championship criteria for this year.
Yeah. Yeah. And people want to give grief about about Purdue because obviously they got beat in the Big Ten tournament. They got bounced early last year. I don't remember exactly, but pretty sure they got bounced early or early-ish. Um, but I don't know, man. We'll see.
Last year they got upset by Farrah Dickerson.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. That's right.
Oh,
That's right.
speaking of that, I forgot my because we did top 5 moments. I forgot my what do you call it?
Honorable mentions.
Yeah, thank you. Honorable mention. You'll love this one. Florida Gulf Coast, Lob
Oh,
City.
yes, the Lob City.
Yes.
I feel like there's so many cool things that come from the tournament. And so many cool moments, the stories. I mean, you had what were we talking about earlier? Loyola and sister, whatever her name was. What a cool story that whole thing was. One university that I've got to give a shout out to, that nobody's mentioned on this podcast, and quite frankly, I don't think anybody's talked about them yet. But being the Cowboy, I would be remiss to not give a shout out to Stetson. And they're going up against UConn, 22 game winner. I have no idea. I know nothing about Stetson, the basketball team. I know a lot of things about Stetson, the hats. That's what I prefer. But Stetson University, go get the Huskies because Josh has got them winning it all. So I need an upset somewhere. So, anyways,
Okay. Should we
you're
jump
like,
into
good luck with that one.
Yeah.
Don't bet the mortgage money on that one.
Should we jump into fun facts and my
Yeah,
trivia
let's do
for
it,
you?
man. Let's do it. Let's do
All
it.
right. So fun facts. I think we talked about a few of these before, but these were kind of fun. All right. So lowest seeds to make the Final Four. Do you remember what they were? We talked about it earlier.
Yeah, I think it was 11 seed.
They are. Do you remember any of them?
Well, Loyola,
Yep.
I think was one of them.
Loyola in 2018.
I don't know. I know that St. Peter's is like the answer of one of your questions, but I don't think it's this one.
It's not this one. No. Thanks for cheating already on the podcast. All right.
Exactly.
So,
exactly.
We have LSU in 1986.
That's right. Yeah.
We have George Mason in 2006.
Oh, yes.
We have the VCU in 2011.
Is that Shaka Smart?
It was Shaka. Yeah.
Yeah. Where'd that guy go? I feel he went to Texas.
He is at Marquette right now.
I always liked him.
Yeah. And then the last one, which made a big run in the tournament, the 11th seed, was UCLA in 2021.
UCLA.
Yep. All right. And then you already answered my next trivia one because you want to throw it out there already. But St. Peter's in 2022 was a 15 seed, was the lowest one to reach an Elite Eight.
Okay.
And then because me and you have beards, we wouldn't be a good coach because no coach with a beard has ever made the Final Four.
That is a weird stat. That is a crazy stat.
I know, right? And then here's even a better one for you. Okay. In March, there's a 19% increase of pizza orders.
19%. Like, where in the world? What government body are we subsidizing to get these statistics? Because goodness gracious, where's our tax dollars going here?
All right, here's the fun
19%.
Okay,
right? Let's go there real quick. Are you we got to go kind of big national chain here. Are you Pizza Hut? Are you Papa John's? Domino's? What's another one? Cottage Inn. Cottage Inn might be too regional. I think that's a Michigan thing.
No, it's
or Little Caesars.
They're not
Little
Michigan.
Caesars.
They're in Ohio.
They're in
Ohio too. Oh, Cottage Inn.
Okay. Or Jets.
I grew up on Pizza Hut.
Yes.
And going to the restaurant and the awesome salad bar and stuff. And grew up on
Did you have the book at club where you read the book and you would like get a personal pan?
I don't remember, but I remember doing. I guess I did one of my birthday parties there and made our own pizzas in the back.
Bro, that's
but I remember the Bigfoot pizza. But then in the box, remember the big. And then in college, it was Papa John's, hands down.
Papa John's so good though. It's so good. It gets a lot of hate. But
I mean, the other ones are fine, but those would be the two big ones for me. What about you?
It's hard to beat Jets Detroit style pizza. They literally have some of the best Detroit style pizza if you're a fan of that. Domino's, I don't mind Domino's. It's pretty good. It's a little thin, a little which I like thin. But yeah, I don't know. It's all good.
Interesting sidebar. We're making sure we talk about that 19% increase in pizza.
19%.
I don't know where I found that one, but I did. So we're just rolling with that.
I love it.
Here we go. Here's the fun time. Here we go. All right.
Fun time with Josh and Reggie. Fun time with Josh and Reggie.
Top 6. So there's 6 on this list. Okay.
Top 6. Here we go. Do I need to write this down?
All right. Experiences for head coaches of all time. What do you got? Here we go.
Top 6 head coaches all time. We're just doing this off the cuff.
Yep. And you have talked. I'll give you a hint. You have talked about a couple of them. So.
Oh, this is like legit. Like who ranked these guys?
Yep. No, these aren't ranked. These
somebody
are
on the interwebs.
No. This is the most consecutive NCAA tournament appearances of all time, and some of these are still active. So these are like the top. These are the top 6 right now.
Well, okay. Top 6 consecutive NCAA tournament appearances,
and some are still active.
Coach K's got to be up there.
He is number 3 at 24.
He's number 3. Okay. I would say Dean Smith is up there, but
he is. He is number 5 at 23.
Okay. Ding, 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 ding. Let's see here. I don't think Rick Pitino is going to be up here.
No.
I don't know about. I feel like John Calipari is an elite level coach, but I think he's had some years where he didn't make the tournament, so I don't think he's going to be on here.
He is not either.
Houston's head coach, I don't think he was at Oklahoma for a while. I don't think he's had the consistency of golly, what's that guy's name? He's a great coach, though. Great coach. What's his name? He's on the list.
He's not.
Oh,
it's Sampson. That's his. I don't know.
Not Ralph Sampson.
It's not.
Roy Williams.
He is on there. He is number 6 at 20.
Okay, so my boy Roy.
I think it's Kelvin. I think it's Kelvin Sampson.
Calvin Sampson. Yep, you're right. John Wooden's probably going to be on here.
He is not.
John Wooden is not on here. He just wins national championships.
He's only won 11.
My goodness, that is insane. Bobby Knight could be on here. No.
All right, I'm going to give you one of them because I don't think you'll get this one. So number 4 behind,
just past Coach K.
Yep.
In between him and Dean.
Yep, and he's still active. Is Mark Few at Gonzaga with 24.
Okay.
So if his team makes a tournament next year, he'll put him at 25. All right. So the next 2. Yeah. Number 2, they come out of the Big 12.
So they're still coaching? He's still coaching from the Big 12. I should know this. And I don't. Oh, it's Kansas coach, Bill Self.
It is. Bill Self at 25.
Golly, Bill Self has made himself a career.
Right. Number 1 is right up the road.
Tom Izzo.
I forgot Michigan State is March Madness basketball at 26. He started in 1998. Coming to now would be 26 consecutive appearances.
That's insane, man.
I know.
I don't know if I could do anything for 26 consecutive years in a row.
All right.
I'd eat and breathe.
I know he's been on the hot seat lately too. They've been talking about it up here on the radio.
That's insane.
Okay, here's another fun one. I think you can get these. I think one you might not get. All right. So these are the most consecutive NC tournament appearances all time of teams. There are 3 still active. Okay. I'll give you a hint. These are the big boys. So
the blue bloods.
Almost, yeah. Okay. So what we got?
Duke's going to be up there.
All right. Duke is number 5. They went from 1996 to 2019. So that's 24 straight appearances. They went 13-14 the one year, and so they couldn't get in.
I mean, is it going to it's got to follow kind of the coaches? No?
Kind of. Yeah, I'll give you that.
I mean, Duke was at 24.
Mm-hmm.
So Michigan State's on here,
Michigan State is 3 at 26.
which is Tom Izzo.
Mm-hmm.
Kansas has got to be on here because it went from Roy Williams to Bill Self.
Correct. They're at 34.
Yeah, they've got to be, I don't know, top 3.
They're 1.
They're number 1. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think Gonzaga is going to be on here
They are.
because
They
they
are.
are.
They're
Who?
4. They're 4 because Mark Few's been there the whole time. So 25 years.
Oh, but okay.
So we got Kansas 1, who have
Yep.
Michigan State 3, Gonzaga 4, Duke 5, and that leaves you 2 spots.
So I'm missing 2 and
2 and 6.
2 and 6. Kansas is already there. Well, Caroline. Did I say Caroline already?
Nope. They are number 1 at 27. So they went from 1975 to 01.
Okay. And then
If you get the last one, I'd be impressed.
this is
number 6.
This could be UConn because
it's not, but that's a good call.
Because of their old coach. Could be Syracuse, Jim Boeheim.
Nope. I'll give you a hint. You do not like this team, and they play in the Big Ten. We talked about them earlier today.
You hold on a second. Something's going on with my headphones. What? Say that again. What did you say?
I said they play in the Big Ten.
They play in the Big Ten.
And you don't like this team, and we talked about them earlier when looking at the bracket.
I mean, Wisconsin?
It is. Yes. Unbelievable. 19. Yeah. So they went from 1999 to 2017.
Death, taxes, and freaking Wisconsin.
I know, right? Like the ones you named, Syracuse and UConn. Like, come on. But I think they had a couple of down years.
Yeah. And that's a thing. That's a cool list, man. Well, that's fun.
Yeah, I thought you'd like that little weird fun facts of March Madness.
Facts. A little March Madness. Hey, if you're so inclined and you're still listening to the show, go ahead and put in the show comments. Comment on what you would have put down for the top 6 coaches making appearances or teams making appearances of all time.
Or if you wanted to add your top 5 March Madness moments as well.
Or who you think's going to win, or your sleepers, or anything. Just comment, like, and share. All right, so let's do this. I've got 2 hypothetical questions for you, and then we'll put a bow on this thing. Okay.
And for the people listening, I have not heard these yet, so this is straight off the cuff here. So this might be shock and awe here.
This is like Christmas. Like, you never know what's you never know what's going to be underneath the wrapping paper. All right. Would you rather have your team never make the playoffs? Okay. Whether we're talking college football, basketball, whatever it may be, NFL, NBA, whatever it is, never make the playoffs, or always lose in the championship game.
Okay. I am going to say always lose in the championship game.
Yeah.
Because I can be like, my team's on always made it, just couldn't win it. Just it makes me think about the great Atlanta Braves teams in the 90s
Yep.
with the amazing pitching staff they had. It makes me think
Mhm.
of, I wasn't a fan, but it makes me think of the other team, the Buffalo Bills, to the
Yeah.
Super Bowls.
Yep. Yep.
I mean, it's just, I'd rather have them be there than not. Like, why miss the playoffs and be like, boy, I don't want to watch, kind of thing. That's
Mhm.
just my opinion. I don't know how you feel, but I'm sure you're probably the same.
I'm the same way. I would rather lose in the championship than never make the playoffs. Like, if you're always in the championship, you're always right there. And, you know, you're giving yourself an opportunity, and sometimes it just doesn't fall your way.
But hey, if I knew that in advance, I'd put some money down every year.
Little Pete Rose action here. I love it. All right, here we go.
All right.
This one's a little interesting too.
Okay.
Would you rather, NCAA version here, NCAA tournament version?
Okay.
Would you rather win the NIT or lose to a mid-major in the second round of the NCAA tournament?
I'm going to take lose to the mid-major in the second round, only because I think the NIT's trash, and because they like hosted at their home stadiums, whatever. But getting to the dance is the pinnacle. Getting to March
Yeah.
Madness, anything is possible. Doesn't you have to say this happens every year, but getting there is just what you want to do. This is what your fans want. This is everybody comes to watch. Anything can happen.
Mm-hmm. But on the flip side, I mean, you've got momentum. You just ran. I don't know how big the NIT tournament is. How many teams are in the NIT? Do you have any idea?
I
mean,
don't
30
remember.
teams, maybe. I
Maybe.
don't
I don't
remember.
remember.
But I mean, hypothetically, you just went on a 5 or 6 game win streak, and you got momentum going. But
Okay.
here, you're getting
Hold
bounced
on.
by
Hold on.
Morehead State in the second round.
Hold on. Yeah, I hear what you're saying, but I'm playing NIT. I could be playing a team that's like 16-15 or something. Come on, man. Like, I get it's a 5 winning streak and you win the NIT, but your goal is to be part of March Madness. If I get bounced, it happens. I mean, that happens every year. It's a possibility.
Yeah.
If I was coaching, I'd be like, I'd take getting bounced, like make it there.
Yeah.
Over winning
Especially,
the
I guess,
NIT.
especially if it was the second round. I mean, I think second round has a little less sting to it than the first round. You get bounced first round. That's not good.
Yeah,
You
you
know?
get hyped, you travel, and then you're out. The second round
Mhm.
means you made it a little farther.
Yeah. You know, to stay a night in the hotel or something. I don't know. Watch some other games. Eat some bad food. All right. Those are my two would you rathers. You kind of breezed through those. I didn't know if it would make you think or not, but I don't think the first one made you think too much. The second one, I think, did. Maybe a touch.
It did. It did for a minute. Yeah.
All right.
And then I was thinking, I got this.
I got this.
These are
I got
not
this.
the questions I thought we were going with. I thought you were going to be like, here's your starters from this team, bench, sit, cut, whatever, all that stuff.
Oh, hey, we
I thought
can do that.
I thought you were going to dive into that. But yeah.
Cool. All right, that is our NCAA tournament preview show. A lot of fun. Some weird things in there, but a lot of value. So go back, listen to it, and we'll have a follow-up show. We're gonna see who's right, who's wrong, bragging rights, all the things, right? But our next episode, this one's gonna be cool. We're gonna call it the Coach's Corner, and we're gonna do these every now and then. And this time specifically, we've got a Division I athlete coming in. Okay, former Division I athlete, and I think it's going to be cool, Josh. Just cutting it up with him and kind of picking his brain.
No, I totally agree. We're going to get behind the scenes of what it's like to be a D1 athlete on campus, going through the grind, maybe part of his recruiting process, how he got to where he went, and how he got to play with the big boys. People talk getting D1 scholarships. He lived it, breathed it. And I can't wait to hear more of the story behind all of it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, I'm excited. I'm excited for that one. I'm definitely excited to watch some college basketball coming up here, and hopefully you guys have a chance to fill out your brackets. I know that we're going to do a little bracket challenge internally here, and with us two and probably a couple other people, and just for bragging rights and just ribbing each other and having a good time. So that was a fun one, Josh. Appreciate you, man.